Good evening. I'm just popping on here real quick. I said I'd give everybody an update on how the pop-up sale went this weekend. I know I didn't plan out anything or give anybody any warning that I would be here. So if none of you pop up here, that's totally fine. You can see this afterward if you want to know. Uh, we were a little slower than I expected this weekend, although I guess I did plan the weekend that I planned this sale happened to be two giant festivals in neighboring towns. So while it was a gorgeous, beautiful, perfect weekend, it was also a perfect weekend to be out and about doing those festivals. So it was a little slower than what I expected, but not terrible. A lot of you wanted to know like how much did we sell, what did we make, and what's the plan from here. So we made I somewhere around like $700 ish, which is not terrible for a weekend. Um, so at $700, a little less than I was expecting, or probably a lot less than what my optimistic mind was thinking. But still, again, not I'm not going to complain about making that much money over a weekend. Um, so, but the project that we're doing next, which is kind of why we had this pop-up sale, was well, first also to get rid of some of the clothing and storage, give me some more storage in our home and let some of those pieces go to more loving homes. Some of it, the other bigger purpose was to raise funds for our next project. So as I said before, but I see a few people have popped in here, so I'll say it again. This weekend, we raised about $750 for the next project. So again, not an amount of money that I am going to scoff at. That's a lot of money, but definitely nowhere near what we need for the next project. And just to give you, I don't know if I ever talked about it before, but just to give you an idea of how much, if you were around for the 52 Sunday dinners, to give you an idea of how much that project cost. Before we got an editor, I'd say just if you don't count, because I left my job, I quit my job to do that project. So if you ignore the loss of wages that it took to start that project off, just the sheer cost of doing it, between the camera equipment, the food, all the extras for it, was probably somewhere between $10,000 and $12,000 it took to bring that project forth. This and then if you guys were there at the end as well, I hired an editor. So the editing services were about a little more than $1,500 a month. So that probably brought it up closer to like maybe maybe we'll look at $14,000 to produce the 52 Sunday Dinners project. Just for the sake of transparency, if you want to know what it took to get that there. So I did go back to work to fund the editing and to fund our next project as well as having these pop-ups. But the like $750 is definitely not going to cut it when it comes to our next project. And if I haven't said it out loud, I feel like I've given you guys a little bit of an idea on what the next project is. But if I haven't, what I want to do for our next project. And I will be seeking grants for this. I don't know if we'll get any, but I am going to seek out some grants to fund this as well as continue working and selling off more of my clothing collection. But what I want to do is go into nursing homes and like different care homes, things like that. And I want to interview people. And I want to know, like, ask them about their life story, ask them about the foods that they remember eating growing up, things that meant the most to them, and find out the stories as to why it meant that to them. And then hopefully, if we can, get some recipes, like what was their favorite recipe and the story behind it. And then if we can get that recipe, maybe we can cook it together. And if that's not a possibility, maybe I can cook it at home outside and not outside. I mean, maybe outside if it's a camping meal or a grilling meal or something, but outside of their facility or their home if I'm not able to do it there, and then bring it back so that we can eat it together and have a meal together. So that is the plan for that project. But it's going to probably take a considerable amount of time and money to make that happen, which is why we had the sale. So, saying all of that to say, it's going to be, I tend to be very optimistic on what I am able to do. And actually, I'm interrupting myself. I'm hearing a storm, or there was a storm coming through, but I'm hearing the rain hitting harder. So we have Starlink internet, and when storms come through, sometimes the internet is bad. So if I'm choppy or I cut out here, I apologize. I'll try to go live again when it has calmed down if this cuts off. But if you guys have questions, if I'm not cutting out yet, if you have questions or want to say anything, feel free to leave anything in the chat. But anyhow, I do tend to be very optimistic about what I can do, and um, I bite off more than I can chew, and I stretch myself really thin. So before, when we ended the 52 Sunday dinners, and I was like, oh, I'm going to keep up with all these videos. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to keep working, and I'm going to do the pop-ups. There was no way that was happening. In my mind, I was definitely going to do it. It was definitely going to happen, but I really haven't cooked much of anything outside of a few thrown together dinners since I ended that 52 Sunday dinners project. It's been so busy. And I don't want to give you guys a 5% part of me that is into this project. I want to give you guys everything I have with this project, which means I can't start it off next week. I need to be able to raise those funds to make it a more professional. What am I trying to say here? To make these videos with as much professionalism and dignity as you guys deserve to see, and as the people who are going to be interviewed deserve to be in. So it'll be probably, I don't know, I don't have a hard line to say, okay, I'm definitely going to be ready in 2 months. I think saying I think I should be ready in a few months, but I definitely won't be ready by next week or next month or anything like that. So there will be a lag and a delay a little bit. And in the meantime, some of you guys, some of you, we keep up with emails and different correspondence like that. So if you want to continue emailing me, writing me letters, whatever it is, when I'm not on YouTube, I would love that. I would welcome that. Just keep up, continue being friends in the meantime. But yeah, all that to say, it'll be probably a couple months before I am back here officially doing videos. I'll be doing all the work behind the scenes until then. And that's really, I guess, all the updates I have, everything I have to say there. Not a ton to say about it. If anybody has any questions, let me know. Otherwise, yeah, I think. Oh yeah, brown eyed girl, I feel you. um, the the whole, I feel like I have also been, I mean, I've been doing this a little bit, but it's definitely not been the same, and I haven't answered the comments like I used to. I have not kept up because of work. Work has been nuts. And I hope you're getting a break though. Carmen, the sale was a little slower than I expected. And I did say too at the beginning, I planned this out on a weekend where it was gorgeous. It was a perfect weekend. It was beautiful, but two neighboring towns had their giant yearly festivals going on at the same time. And in my mind, I thought, oh, let's do it that weekend because people are going to come in from everywhere and they're going to be up here already, and maybe they'll want something else to do. And that was my logic, and my logic was wrong. They wanted to be at those festivals, which they should have been because it was gorgeous and they do such a beautiful job at these festivals. But they just weren't in the shop when I was having the sale. as much as I expected them to be. We did about $750, which is again not bad. I'm not saying that that's not a lot. Like $750 is a lot of money. It just is not anywhere near what we need to start the next project yet. So I'll be doing some fundraising. I'll be applying for some. Yeah, I agree. It is pretty good. Um, I'll be applying for some grants and continuing to work to raise the funds to start the next project. Um, yeah, Brown Eyed Girl, I'll be glad to be back doing the regular videos. I will say I had so much fun going through all the clothes, but it's not the same feel. It's not the same. Um, those videos were kind of just I recorded it while I was going through it and um, just kind of put it out there to let everyone see if they wanted to watch it. But it's not the same as the dinners and the conversation, that sort of thing. Um, yes, I started looking into grants already, and as I started it, I realized this is kind of when I realized I'm going to have to take a couple months off to get serious about it because I was starting to look into applying for grants while I was also working and getting the stuff for the pop-ups ready and still producing those videos. And, then you have some other things going on in your social life and your family. And um, I realized I need to just take a step back and not give, like 10% to each thing and just I have to give 100% to those grants and um, to apply for them so that hopefully we actually get them. Carmen, the next project is what I really, really want to do is get into particularly nursing homes. And I want to interview residents. And hey, Cindy, um, I really want to yes, get into nursing homes, interview the residents, hear their stories, and talk to them about the foods that really meant were the people that made it that special for you. And then hopefully, if they have a recipe, we can possibly cook it together. And if we can't cook it together, maybe I can cook it outside of their home and their residence. Maybe I can cook it at home and bring it to them. And then we can have a meal together and share it that way. And that way, we can bring their stories and maybe maybe a particular person that I interview resonates with somebody. Maybe they end up, if it's you, Carmen, maybe you relate to whomever I'm interviewing that month, and you decide to write to them, and now they have somebody that they now write to, and they have another person in their life. Because I've worked in nursing homes before. And I think that the staff members and the nurses and everybody that works there does the best possible job that they can. And I think most of them really, really love the residents. However, there just aren't enough staff members per resident, and they don't get the love and the dignity and the life quality that they deserve. And I think doing something like this will bring some of that back possibly, even and hopefully what I would hope would happen, maybe that will inspire other people to maybe do the same thing and start sharing stories and start visiting and talking. And I think we can all learn a lot. I think I have a lot to learn from residents of nursing homes. I know I have learned a lot when I've worked in them. Um, and I think there is a connection that has severed between when we put people in nursing homes and we kind of just forget about them as valuable human beings. And I think maybe this is a way to make that connection back again. And I really, really hope that we can do that through this project, which is why I feel like I can't just start it next week with 5% of me. I really want to give not just my stuff, like not myself. I want to give the people that I'm interviewing that 100% professionalism, dignity, and for that, I'm going to have to raise some funds for that to be a little bit more. I don't know what the word I'm trying to find here is, but to get better camera equipment, an editor to take care of that, because I think I did an okay job with the 52 Sunday Dinners project. I don't think I did a bad job at the beginning, but I definitely think having somebody who has um, better equipment and who can bring their stories to more people, and in a way that more people will want to hear, I think is very important. And yes, food history community. I totally agree, Cindy. And I think people connect everything we do, every connection that we make, every big event is had over food. Food is such a big connector for people. And so I think this is the perfect way to connect. Even if it's food we love, food we love to hate, food, it doesn't matter what it is. Food brings people together. And I really, really hope that we're able to do that through here. Brown eyed girl, I'm feeling pretty okay. Still very tired all the time. And actually, after this weekend, I am exhausted. Um, but my health is, I think I'm starting to see the light a little bit with my health. So definitely, definitely on the up here. It's still going to be a very long process. But I'm being retested for some things at the end of this month and then at the end of next month, just to kind of see where my levels are at. And we'll see where it goes from there. But we had our first, kind of off the topic here. Um, I had my first overnight backpacking trip. I'm very, very big fan of camping, and I want to do a through hike. I've wanted to do it for about 5 years. Um, and I just live vicariously through other YouTubers and watch them hiking. So we did our very first overnight one the other night, and I will tell you the happiness and joy. And since I've been relatively not feeling well and sick, uh, kind of lost a little bit of that. You kind of get depressed and you get into that um, feeling that chronic illness affects your mental health a little bit. And that camping, oh, it brought a little piece of my soul back. I think it was wonderful. Uh, Camping is a hotel that doesn't have room service. Yes. I never thought I'd be somebody who could sleep outside in a tent on the ground. But yeah, yeah, it was great. It was fantastic. I did. More for me. You get the hotel and the air conditioning, and uh, don't get me wrong. I'm definitely, when it comes to staying in hotels, I've gotten a little bit bougie in my hotel stays. But camping, yes. Cindy used to prepare a childhood meal for friends. Oh, that's awesome. On their birthdays. So you got to hear all of their stories with that and what it meant to them. You mean, and when you say that, do you mean you knew what meal meant the most to them in their childhood and you prepared that? Or do you mean when you were a child, you made a birthday meal for them? Or, I mean, or both. I don't know. But that's amazing. I know how much it means to me, like when Nani cooks for me. I know how much that means to me. So to have someone, like if you are somebody who prepares meals, and to know the amount of love and intention that goes into meals being prepared specifically for somebody else, that's what an act of love. That's amazing. I bet they probably still think about that. However, like I don't know how long ago it was that you did it, but if I was someone that someone did that for, I would think about that for years and years and years. I know that would be probably one of my best memories. Hmm. Anybody, you guys have anything to share? Any life updates? We're all kind of hanging out here. I haven't talked to, oh, they told you about it. That's awesome. I love that. So you got the story behind it too. Um, Anybody have any life updates? I haven't talked to any of you in, it feels like years, but I know it's only been like a month or two, a couple months. Anybody have anything going on? I know we're kind of off the purpose of the live at this point, but now I'm just using it as an excuse to chat with you guys, catch up a little bit. Okay. Okay. when is the season out, Brown Eyed Girl? Because I feel like there's always hockey going on. When is there Stanley Cup? That's the big thing. Okay. Is the Stanley Cup in June? Oh, that would make sense. They'd have the summer off when it's warm, and then they start again when it starts cooling down. Okay. That absolutely makes sense. All right. I don't think I've ever asked you, did you play hockey ever? Do you strictly watch or did you play? Okay. Do any of you guys play any sports? Lots of watching. Yes. I don't know if it was, maybe it's an American thing, but I know a lot of Americans that are super into hockey. I liked football a lot as a kid. I think I was indoctrinated to loving the Buffalo Bills. So I definitely watched football a lot as a kid. Um, no worries, Cindy. Um, and then I played rugby in college, but other than that, I at this point, um, oh my gosh, your window snapped like this, like it closed. Um, oh, you know what? I have a great story for you. Let's just move on to life updates, I guess. Well, you guys, how did it do that? So where I usually sit, which is just turned around here, for when we did the 52 Sunday dinners, where I would sit in front of the Hoosier cabinet, and that window was in the background to, I don't know which side it was on the computer, but it's on my right. Um, when I work from home, so I leave my laptop sitting up right in front of that window so I can look outside and look at our yard and everything and see the wildlife outside. And the ducks, they're going crazy the one day while I'm working. And they're pretty dramatic, like they're a little extra. So I go outside just in case to check on them, though. And you've heard the guineas before screaming. And the guinea was screaming. I went outside and I'm like, well, is there a hawk out? Is there a fox? Is there something threatening them? And there was nothing. I'm like, you like just relax, calm down, you guys. And maybe a little bit later, one of them is like dramatically flying from the back of the property up to the front, and it's like flapping its wings. And usually they are fat; they do not fly. They are lazy, unless they are trying to get to food really fast, or they have just been let out of their pen in the morning. They don't fly. So the one flew, and I'm like, they're ridiculous. So I look outside, don't see anything, nothing's going on. All of a sudden, I hear this, and I thought, okay, the duck has landed on. We have this little wooden box thing right outside, right underneath the window. And I'm like, that duck landed on that box. Like, I'm getting ready to, like, I move my laptop and I shut it down, just like your Snapchat, Cindy. I shut my laptop to shoo it off the box, and I look out, and I'm staring directly into the face of a black bear. Like, there was a bear. Just that's what they're freaking out about. They were not being dramatic at all. There was a bear that just climbed up on the box and was looking in the window at me. I mean, I won't say it's small. It was so cute. Like, I know grizzlies are terrifying bears. Black bears around here, we get them every once in a while in the yard where we see them. I mean, they're here all the time, but we only see them once in a while. This thing was maybe like an adolescent, maybe like 150 pounds. And I went out on the porch to kind of record it, and was just kind of talking to it and shooing it out of the yard because I didn't want it to eat our ducks. Um, but oh my gosh, it was the cutest thing. And I was yelling at it. It started walking toward me. And I'm like, no, 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 I'm not calling you to me. Like, go away. It it was just like kind of lumbering about, kind of friendly, kind of like, it was so adorable. And I went back in the house, obviously, because I'm not going to pet a bear. I'm not like, they're very cute, but I'm not a psycho. I don't want to be mauled by a bear to death. Um, it was only, you had bears in Maine, yes. Um, I think yeah, I did. I went outside and yelled at it on the porch. It was only like 150 pounds, which sounds like a lot, but for a bear, it wasn't that much. Um, I think at that point, it had outgrown its mama. He's like a teenage sized bear. And it around here, like the bears around here, if you yell and shoo them, I mean, they run away unless there was something big dog, the bigger than a big dog, maybe like, oh, how, like a I don't know. Like a mastiff is one of the biggest dogs I can think of. Like one and a half times the size of a mastiff, maybe. Like pretty chubby, pretty cute. And but I mean, he went away. He was fine. We've had some really big ones. We had one that ripped our grill. We had a grill on our porch, and it came and ripped the whole grill down. And I mean, it wanted to get inside of it. It I don't think it was hungry. It was in the middle of the day. It was just a couple days ago. This time, the one that was in the window was just last week or the week before. The other one that was in the grill, maybe that was last year or the year before. I don't remember what time of year. Maybe fall again. I Maybe it's always the fall. I don't know. Um, it it probably was. They're always hungry. They're bears. They're always hungry. Um, But yeah, I mean, I love seeing them here as long as I'm not very close to them and I can get in back in the house very quickly if things change. I don't want to meet a bear out without being able to get away from it. Um, yeah, yeah. But anyhow, I guess that was kind of a going off on a tangent of story time. Anybody have anything else? Any updates? No, no, I would never purposely feed a bear at all. I think it's what's the word? Cruel. I think it is cruel because it's not the bear's fault. I don't want anything to happen to the bear. I don't want someone to have to put a bear down because I have done something stupid and gotten its way. And like this is its natural habitat. It should be able to do whatever he wanted. Um, but Brown Eyed Girl, you want to try and retire by the end of June? That would be amazing. Ugh. You want to come work for me or with me? I guess not for me. You want to come move to America? We have hockey down here and come make some videos with me. We could be best friends. Um, your husband used to hunt bear. Did they have a bear season in Maine? Was it in Maine that he did it? Um, Brown Eyed Girl, do they have, I guess in Canada, do you guys have like a social security or anything like that for when you turn a certain age? Well, you guys have universal health care, right? So I guess that doesn't that's not the same here. From Oh, okay. That would be awesome. Well, I need to start working on some more grants then, and maybe we can work together at some point. You just need to raise the funds to be able to pay you. um, CPP is that Canadian Uh, I have no I'm gonna start saying inappropriate things, guessing at what these letters mean. I'm not even gonna try. Oh, yes, I agree, Cindy. I think the food, I love the food aspect, but I think the history, and I love the history of food, and I think the human connection and the bonding is really important, and the having the history firsthand from people who lived it is amazing. Um, yes. Nani and I talk about that all the time. She talks about how her father came over to Ellis Island from Italy, and there's stuff she wishes she could go back and ask her father, her mother, everybody. And she can't. So I think it's so important to to get those stories and gather those stories and just talk to people and connect with them in that way. Okay, Canadian pension plans. That's what CPP means. Okay, that makes sense. Um, yeah. Well, hopefully that works. You'll be 60, you can retire. Um, maybe you can be on the vintage dietitian team. That would be awesome. Born in 1927, working on the farm with horses, milking cows. Oh, no phone until 1949. Yes. Nani talks about that. I don't know if we talked about it or if I put any of that discussion in the video, any of the videos, but she talked about how there was no like refrigerators. Her father, they didn't have refrigerators growing up. They had like the ice boxes and stuff. Um, working with I assume the horses probably helped work the farm as well. Um, and I bet he obviously was drinking the milk straight from the cows too, uh, which is awesome. Yeah. And they had all the ice houses and everything like that, storing all the ice. That's awesome. That's really cool. I was watching a documentary on YouTube the other day. Well, I say the other day, it was probably like a year ago or something about the ice houses. And there's still some communities where they still go in, they cut the ice and they store it in the straw all year round and they come and take it out to use as refrigeration. That's really, really cool. Okay. Cut and gather the hay. And then is that the hay that they ate? So they had to make their own dinner. He wouldn't go on the ice. Was he afraid to fall through? That would make sense. Yeah. Yep, that makes sense. Carmen, your mom is the same age as Nani? That's really cool. So she's a farm girl growing up. What do you know what they farmed in particular? And by the time you were born, were you like, did they still have the farm? Were you a part of that? Was that a part of your growing up as well? Grampy had to cut the ice. Hmm. Yeah, I think I'd be a little nervous to go out on that ice. Uh, Water cooled milk chillers. So they would run the water through to cool the milk. That's really neat. Okay. So you helped on the farm too, Cindy. Okay. That's awesome. That is hard, hard, hard work. Um, okay. They lost the farm and your grandfather went to work in the factories. That's a lot of people's stories. I kind of crazy how many people that happened to. And I mean, I know factory work people, we needed factory work at that point as well, but um, it's interesting to see some of the shift back to from like my grandparents and great grandparents' age. You were a city girl in the 60s. Um, there's so many people my age and younger than me that are maybe not farming big farms, but moving back toward homesteading and growing their own food and getting their own animals, raising their own meat. And I think I'd love to do that at some point, raise my own meat. But I think there's also a layer of community, and I I feel like I have too many things going on. I'm too busy for that. So I'll let my neighbors who want to do that. I'll let them raise the animals, and I will financially support that by buying their meat, and then maybe trading them some stuff. Well, excuse me, brown eyed girl. You were a city girl. You hated dirt. Oh, Well, then you definitely can't. It would have to be remote work. You couldn't be here working with me then because it is all dirt out here. It's only dirt and grass and trees. Oh, that kept the farm going. They grew corn and peas, sold to the local corn shop. Oh, that's cool. So your grandparents' farm and parents' farm helped to supply canning supplies. That's awesome. Carmen, yes, Carmen and Cindy, I am so with you. I also I grew up in a small like rural area, but nothing like what I'm living now. And I remember as a teenager thinking, I can't think of a worse life to live than living like a farmer. That sounds like my nightmare. And I'm going to live in the city when I grow up. And now I live in a place that has no cell phone service, and you cannot see my house from any roads. We're in the middle of a like a state forest, a national forest, and a regular whatever kind of forest. And I will die in this house a happy old woman. I will never leave this life. Yeah, remote. I agree, Brown Eyed Girl. I work remotely from here, so uh, I can definitely appreciate the technology 100%. Um, Cindy, your parents built a chicken farm and you had thousands of birds. Oh my gosh, along with the cattle. Yes, that's incredible. We have a dozen birds, and I feel like it's really hard work, or a dozen and a half birds. And I can't imagine having that many birds and the cattle. What a tremendous amount of work. But, if that's what you love, what an awesome way to work and live. Yeah, Brown Eye Girl, no cell phone service. So when it storms like this, there was a one day I was working, and I have to what I do is now is I call and I interview different moms across the state and certify them to get onto the WIC program, which is it's an awesome job. I love what I do. But I have Starlink, and it started storming, and it was the middle I was in the middle of a call with this mom, and the internet dropped. And as soon as it drops, I had no cell phone service, no internet, nothing. I I just grabbed like unplugged my laptop and my phone and put it in my laptop bag and just went running. Actually, I was wearing my Crocs, and I think I still had like pajama pants on my bottom half. And I ran out the door, jumped in the car, and drove like 15 minutes to where there's actual service, and sat in a parking lot to do the rest of my calls that day from the car because um, I couldn't. I had to make my phone a hotspot, and oh, it's a mess out here, but I love it. It's amazing. Um, Thousands of eggs a day. Oh, I get excited when we have like 15 eggs a day. That's amazing. Uh, I can't imagine thousands of eggs. That's so cool. That's so many baskets of eggs. Oh, all right. Anything else going on? I'm so glad. I didn't know if anybody would be here to talk or if I'd just be talking to myself for a while. But anybody else have anything to say before I head off to bed? I guess you could I work for a social program. It's called WIC, Women, Infants, and Children. I don't know if they have any programs like that in Canada, Brown Eye Girl. Here in America, it's a program for mostly low income, and it's for pregnant women, infants, and children up to the age of 5. And it's a nutrition program. And they provide a lot of breastfeeding support and help, a lot of nutrition education, health education. Um, and in addition to it, the big thing that people who get on the program really are looking for is help with food, like nutritious foods. Um, so they get like in Pennsylvania, at least each state runs their program a little differently. So in Pennsylvania, they get a card that has specific foods loaded onto it. Oh, so you have it. You know what I'm talking about. Um, oh, it is really starting to come down now. So I don't know if this is gonna get cut off or not. But yeah, I totally agree. I think WIC is one of the best. I have a lot of feelings about government programs and things, but I think WIC is one of the, if not the government program possible. I think it has done. I've watched so many moms and children and I've grandparents and dads too that have just gained this amount in education. Um, it's incredible. I wish everybody actually could have WIC, like, and it's not just income based, it's mostly income based, but if you have medical assistance from the state, so if your child or you has some sort of additional health issue, uh, you also qualify for it that way. But yes. Oh, okay. So you are the faculty of social work at your university. That's awesome, brown eyed girl. So is that something that Operation Christmas Child. So you sew tote bags that go in the boxes. Is that the, like you guys make the boxes up and you put different like books and gifts and things like that inside the box and send it to them? The Samaritan's Purse. Oh, you're the program assistant. Okay. That's awesome. I totally agree. I think they need to have something like WIC, but for elders as well. I mean, I know they have things like Meals on Wheels, and I know they do the Farmers Market Nutrition Program for senior citizens as well as for the WIC participants. But I agree. I think there needs to be something else in addition. Um, for elders. I think that would help keep them in their homes longer. I think there would be a lot of things that could help. Totally agree. Man, we're a lot of subjects tonight. I thought I was just going to go over, hey, this is how much we made. This is what's happening next. Good night. And this is always what happens too. Get to talking and then I find out instead of 5 minutes, I've been talking for like 4 hours. Oh, anything else you guys want to talk about or want to cover? Um, yeah, Carmen, I am. I'm starting to feel a little bit, I will say, like I'm not 100%, but from where I was feeling before, I'm definitely feeling way, way better. Um, Still a lot of issues with fatigue and chronic pain and all those sorts of things, but I don't know if you were here earlier when I was saying like there's a mental health aspect to it too, and I still do deal with some issues with depression and those sorts of things. And the we went camping the other like last weekend, and just the amount of joy and feeling a little bit back to myself a little bit that brought me was incredible. So there's definitely a lot of layers and aspects to it. Um, but yes, I'll say overall, definitely feeling better. And I have some testing coming up at the end of this month and the end of next month to see kind of where my levels of all my different, like the minerals and the hormones and the mold levels and the microsporidia and all that, kind of where we're at there to kind of find out. And hopefully we'll be on the improving end as well. But yes, thank you for asking. I'm definitely feeling like I'm on the rise up as well. Uh, and it's getting the yes, tall trees, fresh air, freedom from four walls, 100%. And the walls that you put up in your head too. You know, you have those like just relaxing at home. I can't relax at home because I've got to do the dishes and I've got to do this, and I don't do a great job at doing that, but I think about it. um So getting out there and thinking, okay, I have no way to do any of those things. I can't worry about it. I can't worry about anything but me and God and these trees right now. So yes, it is fabulous. Oh, Carmen, I know. It's, I'm glad that people talk about it a little more now and it's a little less shameful. Um, but yeah, yeah, we all have them. And it can be overwhelming sometimes, those walls that we put up in our heads. And you're like, okay, just do it. Just do it and just be happy and just and those walls are, you can't find the door in them. So I think we're getting there. I think we may have found a little, maybe a little doggy door, but we're gonna fit through it. Oh, I think it's really nice to hear people share those things as well, so you know you're not the only crazy one. We're all a little crazy, which is, it's kind of nice. I kind of like all of, I don't know. It seems to me as we have all gotten to know each other and talked in the last year or so, your crazy is my kind of crazy, and I really appreciate that. Hmm. Anybody else have anything they want to share? Yes, you could be shut away in a mental institution just by one person putting you in. Uh, yeah, crazy. That is crazy. And I think there are some instances where maybe some of those group homes could have been a good or positive thing for some people, or maybe let me back that up a little bit and saying they needed support, like support for those instability types of things, instead of like judgment and uh, what's the word? Not, imprisonment kind of in an institution. So I think it's really good that we're all kind of talking about it a little bit more and getting out there and supporting each other. Yeah, uh, we still need some help for people who cannot care for themselves. Yes, I totally agree with that. 100%. Um, we all need to be that care for each other. And we need to have systems in place to care for people because one person can't take on the care and treatment of another person 100% without some of something being what's the word I'm looking for here, something going missing for one or the other. So yes, we need to have systems in place for people, and I think that's getting better. I know there is a lot that's not great going on right now, and I know we have a lot that we need to improve upon. But I do think that compared to some of the things that were occurring before, like yes, like shock treatments and lobotomies and all this kind of crazy stuff, I think there is a lot more, or at least there's an attempt to be a lot more support than there used to be, which is, I think, really great. Um, but yes, that's, I don't know how to end that statement, but yes, yes, I agree. Um, but I see I have been here for 48 minutes now, and it is just about 8:30. So I think I'm gonna attempt to wrap this up in the next few minutes and say, yes, yeah, I completely agree. Horrors before medication can't be allowed. I totally agree. Um, yeah, we need to be out there loving and supporting one another. And with that, yes, it was lovely to see you all, and well, to see your words. I guess you can see me. I can't so much see you. I can just see your little icons. But yeah, everybody, I love you guys. Have a fabulous rest of your Sunday and a wonderful week. And I'll periodically update everyone. And if you have questions in between, I'll probably be not on YouTube much in the next couple months while I'm getting everything ready in the background for the next project. But email me, message me on Facebook or Instagram or wherever. Write whatever you want to do. I would love to hear from you and hear how your lives are going. Brown Eye Girl, if you retire before I'm back on, you have to email me or send me a letter or something so that I can send you a retirement card and we can congratulate you. Well, wait, did you say June? I don't remember when you said it was because uh, I guess I'll definitely be back on before next year if that's the case. But yes, I would love to hear updates on all of your lives and to see you guys then. But until then, I guess I love you all. Have a lovely, lovely night, rest of your week, and I will see you in a few months. Okay. Thank you. Blessings to you too. Good night, everybody. I love you. Yes, Christmas live.